Hi, I'm going to take you on a journey for knowledge. We believe at EON that knowledge is a human right. My name is Dan Lejaskar, and get ready. This is going to be exciting, and we're going to move at speed, so fasten your seat belts. Today we're going to talk about AI in a bigger context, beyond policing. Actually, we're going to talk about the blueprint for how you can generate authentic assessment, job-aligned teaching. Do that by restoring trust in education, reducing workload, and aligning higher education with career outcomes in this new, phenomenally fantastic era. Are you ready? Let's go. So, what's the big challenge? There's many challenges, but one challenge with artificial intelligence is that it ruins academic integrity. For example, essays, reports, tests that used to be reliable are not any longer. Now, faculty, instead of teaching, they are forced into becoming some type of AI police. I don't know many teachers that dreamed about that when they started. The trust, the fundamental trust in grades and degrees is eroding. So, now there are policing methods, but they do not work. Why is that? First of all, there's a constant arm race between new AI capabilities and new software, and the faculty is the victim, always behind. So once a task can be automated, there is no longer a way for humans to protect. So how do we solve this? We need to reframe the whole aspects of AI from a faculty perspective. That's the key of my presentation today. Let's look from a faculty perspective while we benefit students and the academic institution at large. So, what do? We need to shift from text-based evidence to observable performance. Instead of writing or saying, we have to do things. We have to explain decisions. We have to defend choices. This is the way we do it. And we do it using spatial artificial intelligence. By doing so, faculty members regain their role as coaches, not as being detectives or police. Now, on top of that, we're going to talk about a number of other things. So, the anti-cheating is embodied in this integrity suite. We have also something else we call the syllabus sync, which is real-time job alignment with actually what's required. So teach what people require for the jobs. We also have something we call soft skills, which is role play, capability to do photorealistic role play in real time and be judged. We have AI tutors with guardrails. We can actually feed your own courses and convert them to immersive experiences. And we have something we call the evidence vault to prepare everything the student does in this environment to accreditation records. Okay? So, let's start with the seamless teaching workflows. You can start small. We can start with one area that's vulnerable, and then you can measure the patterns and increase step by step. With regards to seamless teaching and workflows, you go from what typically is, let's say, a paper text to what you see in the left corner here, which is a full simulation. Assessment you can stand behind. What do we mean by that? Show me, don't tell me. That's very important. That's simulation-based learning. Multimodal evidence. We capture what you say, what you do. We capture what you should have said, perhaps, what the avatar combines and provides as feedback. Now, the accreditation aspect, we don't want to go through a lot of paper exercise or get into panic mode before the audit. So we want to have an audit pack that with one click generates the course reports, the program dashboards, the evidence of your simulation, which benefits, of course, faculty members because there's minimal touch and maximum compliance. So, if you look at this as a bridge, you go with faculty guidance from the teaching, the curriculum, to the career outcomes. You get live postings, jobs mapped with your syllabus sync. You get micro internships, for example, for the coursework. You get students who graduate with portfolios and verifiable skills that actually allows them to say that they have experience, not just theory. So that's the journey of today. Now, let me take a step back and think from your perspective as faculty. So you always, of course, are concerned about your workload, which is already heavy, your autonomy, don't give up the power to AI, the ability that these solutions are equitable and they are fair. And that's what this provides. In fact, the workload will be less because you have to do less policing, less paperwork, and more teaching. That's what you love. Autonomy, you will retain the control to approve and deploy. Equity, this runs on a mobile device. There's almost 8 billion devices, almost one for each person on the earth today, which makes this available, accessible, and affordable. Fairness, this is obviously something that is fair and transparent, so the grades that you generate here can be they are not questionable. Okay, so another way to see it is less work, full control, inclusive access, and transparent grading. Now, when I'm talking about this, it's not just theory. I invite you to join us, to participate in this implementation playbook. Step 1, we will swap one assignment that's traditionally done with this new way. Step 2, you can scale this on a department level with shared rubrics, evidence vault. Step 3, institution-wide adoption with dashboard, audit packs. All that is available within 90 days. So let's go. I'm so excited to get started. Okay, so now let's go to step number 2. We're going to deep dive on each of those aspects. The first step, we're going to talk about the end of AI cheating. How we restore academic integrity with our integrity suite. So instead of having those vulnerable assignments, and we are putting in performance-based simulations. And this makes it impossible to do AI shortcuts or even irrelevant. So today there's a crisis. 92% of students, there was a study from Harvard, admit that they are using AI for assignments. This means essay, reports, online tests, all this become no longer valid as measures of learning. So the trust erodes, both in grades, degrees, and this puts the whole institution reputation at the test and risk damaging the brand and declining values of degrees. This is not a small crisis. This is a huge problem because the whole aspect of what people are paying, to go to Harvard or any university is at risk. But it has deeper impacts, and this is for the student. It's not just cheating. It's basically the loss of critical thinking. If you can just feed everything as a homework, don't have to think yourself, that shortcuts the whole learning process. You skip to struggle, to train your muscle for argumentation, to expose your critical thinking, to exercise your analytical skills. So as graduates, you enter in a workforce and you're not prepared. And of course, employers will not accept this. So instead of doing this, what we see here, we want to do this. We want to actually enter the workforce with proven aspects. Now, what's the alternative? This got you approach to have this teacher here becoming the police, using AI detection tools. We know that these tools really don't work. They are unreliable, they have false positives, and most important, students are smart. They are very easily tricked. And that becomes, you end up being some type of plagiarism police. Now, Instead of doing that, we go to a paradigm shift. We assess action, not text. AI can generate text, but it cannot perform the task. In our environment, whether you have a mobile device, a headset, or whatever, you have to do things. And by doing, we observe, the system observes you and proves if you have the competence or not. If you see that image there, the student has to actually do those steps for logistics and make decisions, like you do in a video game. This restores integrity. This restores fairness across the classrooms. So this is what we call the Integrity Suite. Now, is the Integrity Suite a special software? No. It's actually embedded in EON XR, in EON AI, in more than 10 products. So this is, on top of the tools, also a turnkey library that is AI resistant, that is performance based, and that replaces the traditional essay and reports. Now, in the simulation, we're gonna observe, for example, a step-by-step mission. We have something called procedural simulations. We're gonna observe your decision makers. We have something called decision simulators. We have even creative and exploratory simulators. Every step you take, every move you make, we'll be watching you, or rather the AI will be watching you and see how well you performed. So this aligns the real skills that are required to get that job with what you're learning. So, how does it work practical? The practical core capabilities consist of the simulators that I just described, hands-on immersive, the data flywheel, which allows you to track every decision, every action, auto-logs the evidence, the soft skill scenario that allows you to train and assess everything from negotiation techniques or how a patient a doctor-patient relation to many different things, HR, job interviews, you name it. And finally, as an umbrella for this, we use the AI Academy builder that contains all these components in a very nice way. So, it's always nice to lean back and look at before and after. So before you had these essays with multiple choice tests, vulnerable to AI, faculty being detectives, and the whole diminishing of the degree credibility. After this, you have AI resistant performance. Faculty become the mentors. Students are active performers, and degree signifies verified competence. That's the difference. Okay, so we can measure all that. What will be the benefits? Let's take it stakeholder by stakeholder. For the students, they are engaged, interactive in learning, and they have a deeper retention. For the faculty, they are no longer police people. They are freed from that, and they have time to do what they like, mentoring. For the employers, they get graduate with observable, verifiable skills. And for the institutions, they go restore trust, value, and parents now can pay the money required to go through this expensive education with trust that the students will have the right outcomes when they come out. Now, what's the practical steps from going from... I like the idea of think big, start small, and scale in a way that's sustainable. So start small means replace one valuable essay with a simulation, try it out. Scale across departments, and then derive the ROI, reputation, recruitment, retention, the 3 magic R's. And get your degrees and authentic credential back. So my call to actions to you today is lead the future with integrity. Cheating is not tomorrow's threat. It is today's crisis. Defensive tools cannot restore the trust. What you need is Integrity Suite. So, next step, schedule today a demo and receive your institutional integrity audit. We're gonna actually do that for you at no cost, even the demo. So, let's get going. Looking forward to work together. Thank you. Now, we're going to talk about something very exciting today, which is syllabus sync. Now, what's syllabus sync? So on one side, you have what you learn in school, This is your curriculum. And on the other side, we have what a career requires. And we need to align the education with the labor market. And we do that to what EON generates automatically with the EON XR family called AI XR micro lessons. So the idea with these lessons is that they are relevant, they actually lead to placement, and they are continuously adapted readiness. The reality today is quite dark. Graduates often lack in-demand skills that they need today. Employers said, I need to retrain them. They are not really having the competence I require. If you look, it's not so strange, but because the traditional way to create curriculum, it took 3 to 5 years to create one. That's the cycles, right? But job market changes every week. So students struggle to get hired. We've seen that. All the headlines talk about it. And employers waste time and money to retrain them. So what is the result? Huge waste. Delayed careers, wasted tuition, reputational drainage, etc., etc. So this is what we need to address head on. Now, how do you do it normally? Well, you can use things like marketplace. Content exists, but it's not aligned with the syllabus. You can use labor analytics. You get the insights, but you don't have an actionable thing for the faculty. You can say LMS. They deliver the content, but they don't decide what should be taught, nor do they give you the practical simulation and experiential learning you require. The missing piece here is a real-time decision system that links the jobs, the skills, and the lesson with experiential learning. And that's what we're going to look at. So let's look at syllabus sync. So let's break it down a little bit. There's a dynamic XR alignment between curricula and job demand. This happens constantly. There is a monitor of postings in your zip code, in area that you want to look for job, and proposes proactively micro lessons. The faculty approves and deploys this instantly with the LMS they have. So this system is not foreign from the LMS, it's integrated with the LMS, although it provides much more. And it keeps the programs current, job relevant, and accreditor ready. Pretty exciting, right? Let's go one layer down. I like to keep always, when I look at a program, to ask the simple question, why, what, and how. So why? We want to stop teaching yesterday's skills. Let me repeat. Stop teaching yesterday's skills. This is so important because I see it again and again. Now, what is it concretely? The AI-driven pipeline generates these micro lessons linked to the syllabi. Okay? And how do we do it? We ingest job posting and frameworks within the geographical area that the student wants to work in. We map the skills graph, detect the gaps, and generate scoped lessons with outcomes and rubrics. Then we notify the faculty with the one-click LMS that this is ready. They review it, they approve it, and then it leads to student mastery. The architecture is quite simple. You have the career compass. This already exists today. You can go to EON XR, click, and it says career compass. You have the next component, which is the curricular analysis. This analyzer, this looks at the current curriculum that exists at the university or the academic institution, and then it compares it with the reality in the world, and then based on that suggested micro lessons, and then it also generates them. And then it also provides a dashboard for the faculty member, even for the students, how well they perform. So the syllabus sync is ultimately generated these lessons. And you can approve this with one click in LMS. So you have your LMS, your gradebook, your accreditation dashboard. It's all seamlessly integrated. EON supports Canvas, Moodle, Blackboard, LTI components. You get a grade passed back to SIS, no parallel system. The feeds into credentials and accreditation is created automatically. And students, faculty, accreditors all see the alignment evidence. Now, this perhaps becomes more tangible if I give you some real-world use cases. So let me talk about example as a supply chain. All demand forecasting module. This is an AI demand forecasting module This leads to higher placing. Let's talk about technical vocational training, electrical and electrician. He can learn a lockout, tagout safety drill. That can be a safer workforce. Let's talk about this lady to the right, a marketing MBA. She can use Gen AI ethics and creative briefs. This is something that is a new micro course that aligns her with the jobs that are in the market. Now, in all these cases, the skill gaps are closed in weeks, not years. And their CV suddenly looks very attractive. So what is the world looking before and after? Before, we have curriculum refresh 3 to 5 years intervals. Gaps are detected perhaps anecdotally. Lessons take weeks and months and are not simulation based, they are traditional. And the accreditation evidence is manual. You have to keep track on all this. With the syllabus, we have continuous alignment, monthly, quarterly, even weekly. You have data-driven skills mapping. You have auto-generated Excel microlessons. You have live dashboards that prove the job relevance. Okay, so in the end, it has to generate a return on investment. And we are measuring a number of things. Placement is very important, satisfaction, the retraining capabilities. But also, if you look underneath, the KPIs, the gap closure rate, the lesson adoption time, and the readiness index. How ready are they for this job? So those are some lagging KPIs, also placement rate, employer satisfaction, etc. Now, I would like to end with a call for action for you. Contact us today so we can do you a demo. You will be able to see how we take static programs into living job-aligned systems, to experience pilots with one department, and then you can scale it institution-wide, and to measure the outcomes. So let's do it. Welcome. Okay, this gentleman looks a bit tired, right? He has not access to EON Accredit. And the whole idea with EON Accredit is to end the accreditation nightmare. How automation turns cyclical panic into continuous confidence. The idea is to provide evidence, efficiency, and faculty time to be restored for more important things than this type of drudgery. The treadmill here is, and this is international, across the world, it's perhaps the most dreaded task in higher education today. Thousands, literally, of faculty hours are used and diverted to this from important teaching or important research. Faculty burnout, opportunity cost, etc. are just a few of the side effects. Now, there is manual evidence that this is very hard to defend. Okay, so why is this such high stakes? As you know, accreditation is not voluntary, or optional, it's mandatory. And if you delay, you risk funding, you risk reputation, you risk even your license to operate. The stress of high-stakes reviews fuels these panic-driven cycles. And I've seen it. I don't know how many presentations I've been at academic institutions. They say they have to stop everything because now they have to go through this accreditation process and they have a visitor that inspects. All methods make institutions reactive instead of confident. Now, why is this not a good way? Oftentimes is what I call it a retrospective scramble. You chase paper trails across departments. Faculties, I can see in the image, they are burdened. They have to recall courses taught years ago. Obviously, you can't be perfect. There will be gaps, sometimes quite big data, and the outcome is not pleasant. You have error-prone, defensive reports, and a stressed faculty. Okay, so now where do we come in? EON Accredit. So it's a paradigm shift. It goes from periodic projects to continuous automated process. It goes from intermittent activities to always on engine that capture evidence silently in the background. It maps every student's action. I'm not talking just about what they write. I'm talking about what they do in the simulation environment, because the EON XR can understand what they move, what they say, when they said it, etc. And this is generated instantly with no marathon paperwork, which gives you evidence, efficiency, and restores the faculty time. Now, how does it work practically? So when the student is, for example, using a mobile phone, a tablet, or a laptop, or even a headset, student performs and we capture the performance, simulations, scenarios, etc. Everything is tagged and mapped according to the accreditation standard. That's done, the tagging is done once, right? And then we have a data flywheel that auto-categorizes all these things in continuity. And then, of course, the report is generated. So before, you have a panic-driven manual data hunts. Afterwards, you have a continuous automated evidence. Instead of thousands of faculty hours wasted, you have hours reclaimed for teaching and research. Instead of anecdotal incomplete evidence, you have granular performance-based solutions. This, instead of being stressed and being defensive, you are predictable, low-stress accreditation. So, this is the accreditation report. The benefits are kind of obvious. Faculty, thousands of hours reclaimed for teaching. Institutions, stronger defensible accreditation. The evidence is the objective-based performance, which is irrefutable. We know what they did, how they did it, when they did it. And the control is from compliance to a strategic advantage. Let's talk about practical implementation now. I would recommend to start with high-stake departments: engineering, medicine, business. Tag key experience to the EON Train AI, which is the manual input that then gets you the automatic conversion. Start with a pilot, demonstrate this automation, and then scale throughout the whole institution, a smooth adoption with zero interruptions. The ROI will be evident. Investing in this automation is a tiny, tiny fraction of what it costs. The ROI is reduced faculty burnout, better ranking, efficient continuous compliance. So, from panic to confidence, you don't need to dread this. You can move from cyclical panic to continuous readiness, and you'll have free faculty to strengthen accreditation, reduce stress. So next step, schedule a consultation. Let's start, get the conversation going. We are ready, and our team is ready to help you. Thank you. Oh, the memory vault. How we move from forgetful assistants to lifelong partners. How we move from kind of disrupted interactive interactions in courses to lifelong learning journeys, where we focus on skills, on jobs, and income. That's what Memory Vault is all about. It's about continuity, context, and competence. Okay, let's dive in. Why does memory matter? So today, AI is very powerful, but it's forgetful. I joke about it. It's a bit like talking with an Alzheimer patient that is super smart, but forgets every time who you are and why you're there. So now, every time you get into a section, you have to reintroduce yourself. This becomes very fragmented, repetitive, irritating, and entrepreneurs and professionals lose continuity. And the solution is that we need to change that. The AI needs to remember who you are, what you like, what you don't like, how well you did in the previous test, and evolve with you as you are growing. That's what it is. So there are 3 types of memory. Okay? There is something we call episodic, which is interactions, semantic, which is your knowledge, and procedural, which is your skills and methods. Okay? And there are 4 design principles: persistence, adaptability, transparency, and compliance. Okay? So that's what we are doing with the stateful AI memory for context beyond every single session. Now, this is personalized, keep in mind. So my brainy, that's what I call my avatar, remembers me, what I like and what I do, remembers where I struggle, remembers what I've done the last few weeks and months, and it improves the engagement, the mastery, the confidence. The learner feels guided by a mentor, feels comfortable. So it's really a partner. Now, to achieve long-term skills tracking or contextual assistance, that means that every attempt, mistake, and success is logged in your profile. And that means also that the vault, the memory, can provide adaptive pathways, right? What is best for you? So for example, let's say you are a medical intern, you revisit a procedure, and you've done it a couple of times. It remembers what were you strong at, what were you weak at, and it reinforces those in order to maximize your learning. This provides a number of things. One of them is reduced redundancy and accelerated learning. Okay, so now of course we need to provide evidence, and this needs to be linked with compliance. And in the income side, we also need to make sure that it's integrated with entrepreneurial support. So to do that, we have a dashboard that provides evidence about accreditation audits using these 3 types of memories, and also provides continuity of advice. Okay, so we get for example, for entrepreneurs, a transparent venture history. What did you do along your journey, and what should you not repeat the mistakes? The benefits are tremendous. So let's break them down. If you look at learners, it is continuity, personalization, and confidence. If you look at educator, it's all about insight, efficiency, accountability. If you look at institutions, it's about compliance, differentiation, and workforce readiness. It's not enough to give a diploma. You also need to provide them with a job. When you look at enterprises, it upskills the existing workforce, aligns them with industry needs, including AI. So the shared value chain here is benefits reinforce one another. Skills helps the jobs, which helps your income. Now let's talk about the implementation. So how do we do it? You can see the path here lingering from integration. This works with LMS, XR, HR, accreditation system. You start small, you take the high stakes training, and you use the accredit heavy programs. KPIs include engagement, mastery speed, time saved, etc. And governance has to always follow the principle. This is very important when you deal with AI. Things like transparency, ethics, privacy, it's all built in. Okay, so let's put this into a context in the market landscape. So by the rise of the memory-enabled AI, this comes with all the tools. They develop from just products or tools to lifelong partners. There are a number of competing approaches: lightweight memory, developer frameworks, high-performance engines. There are a number of benchmarks also that we can go into: continuity, adaptation, efficiency. But what's unique about the Memory Vault is the holistic, outcome-driven solution that positions you as a strategic differentiator. Thank you. So for the roadmap and future horizon, near term, let's start with some pilots on the accreditation heavy programs. And then if we look at the future, we can talk about shared group memories. We can bundle those. We can have memory-powered creativity. You have a lot of memories that you can then tickle the AI to come up with new ideas. And you can also have lifelong journeys. So we'll end with this: AI that remembers. AI without memory is a fragmented, forgetful, and frustrating partner. Memory Vault turns these isolated moments into this beautiful lifelong journey. And the benefits are continuity, compliance, competitiveness. Let's start a pilot project together. Call us today. Okay, today we're going to talk about learning to earning. So EON does not only develop the ability to create courses, it also proactively has developed premium career courses. And we're looking at high demand industries that provides jobs and a good income. And we're going to talk about that today. So today we have these huge skill gaps, approximately 85 million unfilled jobs by 2030. Which is a paradox because AI takes jobs, but still there are a lot of jobs that AI cannot do. And the traditional way to address this is slow, it's passive, and it's disconnected. EON is the bridge for the skills job income gap with immersive job-ready training. It creates continuity from learning to workforce readiness, and I'm going to show you how. The solution is, as you can see, this career portal. It's extended reality based, so it's simulation, immersive, interactive. It is personalized using something we call the career compass, which identifies what you want to do, your skills gap, etc., to which we dock in the premium catalogs and immersive labs and certification, which leads to all the way to income. So this is not just education, it's a whole line of effort to lead you to direct economic mobility. And things can be in areas like healthcare, cybersecurity, green energy, etc. So how does it work? Immersion, you have simulation, experiential-based learning that has safe, real-world practice. You can learn much faster, retain information longer. You have personalization with the Brainies, which is AI-driven adaptive pathways that guides you to the fastest route for you. And this catalog covers, for example, technical skills in, I mentioned earlier, healthcare, advanced manufacturing, cybersecurity, green energy. And each of these tracks links to immersive labs, certification, and jobs, because we link the career compass with jobs that are available within that area. Now, how does it help professional entrepreneurial skills? This is beyond just theory. You get to practice in real life scenario using something called soft skills role play. You learn, and you first learn about this, then you have to train it to engage in a real environment, then you'll be assessed what you did right, what you did wrong, what you should have done instead. Examples of this is communication skills, your sales skills, your project management skills, how do you act in a global environment with cross-cultural business. You can also look at entrepreneur tracks. How do you struggle with a startup? Problems you may encounter, crises that we can generate. So all this is very tangible. And then we have a certification framework. On the bottom is EON certification. That is proven that you learn faster, retain information. That is proven that you actually been and have an experience, not just theory. That is proven that it's not AI generated, so it has the integrity suite. So you get this performance-based certificate, then you get a partner university or partner academic certification. We have it with a number of them in Europe, in Asia, also in technical vocational training. And the last is industry certificates. EON has 26 years of experience working with industry partners in oil and gas, in aerospace, and many other different segments. So you can get certification framework on these 3 levels. Now let's talk about success validation. So the idea is to take you from skills to verified credentials, right? We've seen, and this is still anecdotal, 30 to 40% uplift by using this methodology. 20% to up to 35% employability increase. And we have studies ranging across the world, global south, northern global societies, and whether it's healthcare, green energy, etc. So why does this matter? Now, academia, it boosts employability, and that's one of the key areas people go to academic institutions to get the well-paid jobs. Governments, you can reskill whole workforces at scale. This is important as AI starts to accelerate and take more jobs. For enterprises, you can future-proof your pipelines And for individual, you move much higher mobility direct with respect to income. So from learning to jobs to income, we take the EON Career Compass, we dock in the premium courses, and then as a result of this comes workforce transformation now. What I suggest we do is you schedule a demo and we can show you firsthand how this works. Okay, so today we're going to be more concrete regarding premium career courses. Those are comprehensive answer to skills to income pathway in the AI era. We look at, as AI is eating a lot of jobs disappear, which jobs are in demand, and how can we get students ready for those jobs or learners across the board. So the learning earning gap, the traditional issue we have in education now is that it's too slow, too passive, and too disconnected from the real job demands. Now, some academic institutions do a fantastic job, but generally speaking, there is a very large gap there. Learners face 6 to 24 months delays before income, outdated curricula, and they have 15% completion rates. This again depends on the segment. And this doesn't work, right? The skills gap leads to trillions lost. By 2030, 8.5 trillion GDP will be lost to skills gaps, right? So that's unacceptable. So how do we address this? We use extended reality simulation-based learning plus AI, which gives you this skills to income revolution. You learn by doing in immersive XR. You have adaptive AI personalization. You have community power collaboration, and you have immediate pathways to income. The output is amazing. 4 times faster learning, 75% higher retention, and job placement within 90 days. So that's the beauty of this. So the foundation, you have this like a pyramid with different stacks. You have 5 layers of immersive mastery. From the foundation knowledge to the real world integration, learners prove the progress through conceptual, applied, collaborative, and immediate pathways to income. Okay? So we talked a little bit about this. This is the different aspects to reach those numbers. Instead of traditional online learning, which is passive and not interactive. And of course, linked is to the certificates. We talked about different certificates, assessment certification, and providing not just test scores, but credibility to real-world simulations. So high career paths, for example, are healthcare, cybersecurity, green energy. And the income integration here is you can also use students that are creating, because of this practical learning skills that they have, they're easier to learn while earning by freelancing, peer mentoring, real clients project. We, for example, offer that to our entrepreneurs and especially our interns, and marketplace integration. So, lead the workforce transformation. So EON Reality's career catalog offers the fastest path from learning to earning. What I recommend you to do, you know by now, schedule a demo, and you'll see how institutions, governments, and partners use this capability today to win and create the global economic mobility now. From stories to success. All these things we talked about has to translate in real use cases, real people, real results, real transformation. And we are building those. We're still in the beginning of the journey, so we have much more to do, but we already start to see some very exciting early results. So first, we try to address the gap between learning and earning. We talked about the traditional education promises that sometimes fails to deliver employment, and that leads to graduates that are underprepared, industry that faces labor shortages, and that's what we are trying to bridge that gap. So, stories that matters. Proof through people, not projections. So the idea is to use this strategy to inspire trust, to inspire other people to do this, whether it's people that already are in the workforce or students that are about to enter the workforce. So the idea is to go from low wages to thriving career to stronger income. So we've seen, for example, statistics for enterprise impact with Fortune 500 that translates to theoretically up to, for example, this is an example we did for a study for one of our customers, which generated $35 million annual benefits. So this was translating productivity, less defects, faster training, manufacturing, healthcare. We saw benefits outcomes many-fold, including patient satisfaction, which is almost difficult to put a price on. We also saw some entrepreneurial breakthroughs. Increased business launch rate, right? Higher survival after 24 months. Whether it's agri-tech firms or whether it's green tech technology or even ed tech founders. Now, this doesn't impact only individuals or organizations. It impacts the whole community, right? So, for example, we have seen a rural workforce program where unemployment rates have dropped, right? This is very interesting for local governments, that we connect the education with the training center. Long-term impact of this solution is, if you look at it over several years, of course, you get career progression, you build savings and investments for individuals, you achieve home ownership, which is the American dream, and I guess a global dream. You invest in children's education. So you get a future that is positive and conducive. Now let's talk about global diversity. So we believe in the global south. In fact, most of the youth, currently 80% of the youth is in the global south. So we focus a lot on these demographics, whether it's Aisha that goes from a clerk to be a telehealth coordinator, or James from manufacturing data science, or you can work in the corporate world. So the platform feature driving success. What do we mean by that? Why it works is, of course, immersive learning is proven as a way to help you. It's very much similar like a pilot that has to do an emergency landing. We have the AI career pathways with personalized plan. And we have also the real world applications. So the idea is to transform individuals, enterprise, and regions. And we encourage you, whether you're government, academic institution, or enterprise, to contact us today to do a demo and discuss how we can proceed with such a partnership. Okay, so now EON Sentient. This is perhaps the most exciting innovation that we've had in 25 years, in a quarter of a century. And it has a very representative name, which is EON Sentient. This is going far beyond simulation. This is about AI learning with AI inside. And follow me this, because this is a mind bender. So we have architected this by combining two EON technologies. One is Brainy, which is this mentor. It's an avatar. And the other one is Genesis, which enables you to create real virtual worlds, or virtual worlds in real time. And this is all architected, embedded in Genesis. So what's the paradigm shift here? You go from what you have today, static content, to the infinity dynamic experience. So traditional extended reality is limited to whatever you can handcraft. With EON Sentient, you can deliver infinite adaptive learning environments. Anything you can dream, we can build that world, and we can do it with scalable, affordable, and global accessible. But it's not just the world, it's also the interaction, the pedagogical aspects, the assessment, all that is built in. So it's much richer than just the 3D world. So to do this, you have to have a symbiotic relation between, on one side, Brainy, on the other side, EON Genesis. And you have this, let's say, infinite loop. So you have Genesis is the world generator. So you can say, okay, create the world in Forum and Roman Empire around the time of Caesar. And then you put in Brainy, which is the action agent, and you tell him, in this world, go to the Senate and participate in a Senate hearing in the forum, right? So then the agent will go in the world, and the world will react to his entry and generate things on the fly depending on his action. And the world is generated based on the inputs from the avatar, and the avatar reacts to whatever the world is creating. So that's why I'm talking about the loop. An AI that generates another learns and enacts. A bit difficult to get your mind around this, but once you do, you see the powerful. I joke about it and say it's an AI playing in the mind of another AI. That's how you summarize it. So this solves a lot of bottlenecks, right? Because the data scarcity now today, we have a limited amount, although we have a huge amount of 3D environments, 36 million going to 40 million, it's never enough, right? So although we have the world's largest. So this creates an infinity synthetic experience. You go from let's say, weak generalization where you talk about a specific area but in a vague form, now to a super adaptable, customized version with endless variation. Take an engine, for example, right? Instead of just having one 3D model, you have now all the variations. You go from extremely high cost to handcraft this to automatic scalable XR training, right? And this, most important underlying this, is EON's platform that's available, accessible, and affordable for everybody on every device. Okay, so let's talk about skills, for example, the Infinite Simulator. So you can generate an endless technical training, for example, digital twins of machines, 3D printers, anything like robotics or electric vehicle. And you can also do endless soft skills role play scenario. No scripts, no repetition, authentic challenges every time. Jobs. Let's talk about a career compass. We can reimagine the whole thing. You can be a day in the life. Let's say I want to be work with ambulances or be some type of assistant. In that case, you actually can experience a day in the life of that, a job simulation. Prove the competence in real-world challenges. So it's evidence-based hiring replaces guesswork. This is also a way to validate it, whether you can cope with that or not. Let's talk about income, entrepreneurship. How does it help there? You can test your market with AI consumers. So you can basically create your lab for your products, and then you can insert avatars in this world, and they will react to it, and they will test how well you do in this environment. We call it the sandbox, right? So you can see, okay, this version sells 52% versus the other one. You can also do living digital twins with autonomous Q&A. So enterprises can test supply chains, factories, workforce, etc. in this environment. What's the competitive advantage? Why is this rendering static content obsolete? It's almost evident. I don't think I have to say it. So you go from very static content to this endless, interactive, infinite environment, right? So the key now is to, and what EON Sentience task is to architect this future of knowledge transfer, which is based on certain foundations like infinite content, adaptive skills, job and income pathways, and of course we invite a lot of early adopters. We expect to release this later this year. We still are working very tightly around this product, which is obviously a huge step for us forward. If you already are a customer, you will get an upgrade path. If you want to join, this is the time to join EON's family at the most exciting venture. Okay, so we strongly recommend to contact us today to partner around this very exciting product. Okay, we're going to talk today about EON micro internships and task marketplace. So the idea is to bridge the experience gap from not just task, but even paid task, verified skills and real opportunities, okay? So how do we do that? Today, we read every day that it's almost impossible to get for entry-level jobs are quickly disappearing, right? Everybody says you need experience. So freelance sites crowded but low trust, internships are scarce and hard to scale, traditional recruitment is costly and slow. So the missing link here is this trusted, skills verified micro work marketplace. That's the bridge. That's what we are doing with this program. And how do we do that? We address the supply and demand. On the supply side, we have a lot of students with digital twin skill profiles that went through EON's training, so they have verifiable skills. And on the other side, we have employers that post scoped, low-risk tasks, right? Things that are important, but still are low risk. And then we have this in the middle, the skills verified marketplace that connects them. And okay, so let's answer the basic question. Why, what, and how? So why? It breaks the no experience, no job cycle. This is the most vicious cycles we see today. What? And this is important for you as an academic institution. What? It is an XR verified talent cloud for micro work, right? That's what it is. How? We verify the skills via XR coursework. We know that they actually know what they're supposed to know. AI matches the skills with the tasks. So we have that credibility. And then we have a guided workspace that ensures quality, right? And then in the end of the rainbow, also there's pay or milestones from these workers, okay? From these work opportunities. The solution architecture looks something like this. You have the verification and you have the workspace. You have the matching in between those. So digital twin skills tags and assessor notes. The matching engine is AI scope estimator and fairness model. And the payments are, now we are working with wallets, receipts, micro badges, etc. So the use case in action can be a data ops or translation task where you have to double check something that AI has done, marketing ops related to various opportunity in that, especially AI related, health admin, etc. The unique benefits here are multiple. One is low friction demand, trustable supply, income while learning. This is very exciting for many students. And policy friendly. You can measure, you can actually scale this also to youth employment. So if you look before, you have this skeptical wall with no experience wall, with high employer risk, with costly sourcing. And on the other side, you have low risk hiring, real-time metrics, and paid tasks. So the call to action here is to engage. This is part of also a Wealth Weaver program, which we have with Entrepreneur Guide. It's a 6-month course. So if you're interested in that, please contact us today and we can set it up for your academic institution very quickly. Yes, okay, so today we're going to talk about compliance and specifically the compliance coach that goes, as we say, beyond the binder. So what is it exactly? It's the ability to de-risk regulated industry with verifiable performance-based compliance, okay? The first thing is there is a crisis with compliance today. If you say one wrong thing, especially in places like US, that's very liability prone, you can risk multi-million-dollar fines. There's a lot of regulations, employers trained, but today they still fail under pressure, so we can't push them under pressure. And compliance is obviously not optional, right? It's something existential. So how do we address that? If you look at the traditional training, you have either box ticking manuals, and that create an illusion of safety, but doesn't really measure your skills under pressure. You have quizzes and competence under stress. Quizzes is not competence under stress. That's what I meant to say. You have one-to-one role play, but that's very costly. It's inconsistent. It doesn't scale. And of course, you have the regulators that demand proof, not just attendees' records. So how do we address that? So instead of reading is not doing. So employers can pass tests, yet fail the real clients. And high-pressure situation expose the lack of practice. So the result can be catastrophic liability. So that's the quiz, and it looks fantastic, but in the real life, it's a disaster. So the paradigm shift is to move from passive theory to active skills proving. So employees build compliance muscles, memory, very much the same as, think about it as an aircraft simulator, right? If once you get an engine stop, instead of remembering the quiz, what is it I do, which page do I, page 15, what do I do? I just act because I have muscle memory. I've done that emergency landing in the simulated 400 hours. I know exactly what to do, right? That's exactly what this is about. Practice happens in a safe to fail environment. Certification proves performance, not attendance. So inside this coach, you have soft skills AI avatar that simulates clients, let's say angry or confused or deceptive. You have train AI that ingests your own materials, your own compliance documents, and translates them into an immersive experience. You have AI guardrails that doesn't allow hallucinations, so it doesn't allow the AI to fantasize beyond what the train AI allows. And you have also very different evaluation. Every word you say, every thing you do, we can also measure your gestures, your face, etc. And we have an audit trail. Everything is measured, and we can provide you very granular evidence of what happened. So let's look before and after. So before, it was webinars, quizzes, subjective role play, high-risk scenarios. After, you have certified, immersive, verifiable, audit-ready results. So the enterprise benefits are dissected as such. For employers, you have realistic practice, confidence under pressure. For leadership, you have objective, standardized certification. And for regulators, you have irrefutable audit trail of competence. For the businesses, reduced fines, stronger culture, compliance. Implementation path: start with a pilot, go to a certification rollout, and then scale and go all the way to organization-wide deployment. Now, let's talk about ROI for a second. So, lower compliance risk, fewer lawsuits. This translates to a lot of dollars. Brand protection, and very scalable and proactive. Now, what's my call to action? Simple. I talk about trust, compliance, confidence. Proof, not promises. So for that, we'd like to engage you in a demo. So we offer you a session with the EON compliance coach. So instead of risk no longer is managed by hope, you move from illusion to proof from burden, and that gives you the competitive advantage. Okay, so let's start with a personalized risk assessment and demo today. Okay, so now today we're going to talk about success stories, how this technology that EON offers and solutions for skills, for jobs and income provide lives transformed, business created, and regional economies revitalized. And we're going to go through this step by step. So today we have this, I call it the wall of broken promises. So we go from skills to income. And we do that through pilot certification records. And the traditional education today often fails to deliver these job-ready skills. And we breach that gap between training and real employability. And this is not just measured by degrees, but it's measured by income, careers, and resilience. So how do we do that? Career changers. Let me give you an example. So we have here Maria. She used to be a restaurant server. Now she has retrained herself through this program to senior healthcare coordinator. This gives her a significant high income and more satisfaction. We have James that went from manufacturing to data science, and we have 78% of career changes achieve promotions within 2 years. Okay, so these are some of the examples. Now we also focus on inclusion and access. So you talk about rural area that are underserved. We see, for example, a rural telehealth pioneer changing her position and achieving a significant higher income. We have state programs that generate a lot of economic activity by using this method. So we have the other group I call tech pivoters, right? Mid-career professionals shifting into AI, data science, digital healthcare. That's where the jobs are, right? That immediately means improved income within a period of 1.5 years, and enterprise achieve significant ROI through reskilling their workforce into these new technologies. If I'm looking at entrepreneurs and innovators, we have, for example, Roberto with his agritech business. We have Amara that works with edutech. We have Michael that works with green tech, which achieves amazing results using the Wealth Weaver program, which has the 7 steps, the Wayfinder, the Entrepreneurship School, the Entrepreneur Guide, the Vibe Coder, the Brainy, the Marketplace, and the Venture Bridge. Freelancing, independent success, that also has received a boost using the same approach and also using our digital marketplace. So overall, we see this wave of income growth with increased career levels by using this approach. So the ripple effect is multiple. We see it on individuals, we see it on communities, we see it on governments, we see it on enterprises, we see it on families, stability, education. That's the benefit. That's how we, instead of working for AI, take advantage of AI to our own benefit. So we stand on the shoulder of giants. Now if you take the data and add the stories are very important because it humanizes the data, real people achieving real results, okay? And together they prove not only repeatable, but they also prove scalable. So my call to action is simple. It's time to act. It's time to close the gap with measurable individuals, enterprise, and government solutions. Go from learning to earning. Thank you. Okay, so today we're going to talk about EON Genesis. It's super exciting. This is one of the most exciting solutions that EON has innovated in the, I would say, last few years. Perhaps one of the biggest, if not the biggest. So this together with EON Sentient will totally revolutionize immersive education, take us to the next level. Okay, very excited about it. So as you can see already from this image, what we're doing is we are generating infinite AI worlds. This is through integrating this with one of our partners, which is Google. Google is doing this amazing thing with multimodal environments. And there's a product that they are releasing called Genie 3. And as a part of this, EON is adding all the immersive pedagogical engagement, simulations, and the richness of the 36 different agents on top of this world to generate a knowledge-based environment. Okay, so let me walk you through how this works. So the bottleneck is very simple today. Education is stuck in a static pre-built 3D worlds. It's very time-consuming to create them. EON has already made big inroads in that by providing this text-to-extended reality solution, but it has limitation to you kind of confine into a limited 3D space today or 360 environment. With this, we break those walls. Problems today is that it's expensive to do it. The assessment is also not totally fluent. So through the Genie 3, let me explain first what Genie 3 is Google DeepMind's ability to in real time generate interactive 3D worlds from just text or from images. So you can have a text and say, I would like to take me to Rome back in the days, and it generates that world, or take me to a space station or a lab. Okay, so that's the basics. Now, when you combine that with EON's enhanced learning world, fuse it together, the 39 agents, the assessment, the pedagogical aspects, the 4 simulators, the procedural simulator, decision simulator, creative simulator, and also exploratory simulators, and all the annotations, the ability to do that, it generates something amazing. Yeah, together you get a structured, adaptive, credential-ready learning environment. So from random worlds to curriculum-aligned simulations. That's the beauty. 1 + 1 is 10. So the fusion that I'm talking about is essentially a hybrid pipeline. You start with your prompt or your image. Then you go to Genie 3. then that converts into Genesis. Then we apply the agent, the learners, and you get your full real-time data loop for this scalable, global-ready environment. Let me frame this with some use cases. The first one is my favorite, traveling back in time. So I can be in any time, right? Medieval times, can be, ancient Greek, or in this case, walk into one of these cities. And I can learn language in authentic environments. I can make decisions that shape historical outcomes. I can engage in culture empathy. And all that is enabled by EON Genesis. Okay. A more practical example of that is today is science and medical training. We can generate these huge labs that are safe. We can have that engage with dangerous equipment, for example, or we can look at molecular structure that's scaled for exploration, so we can become nano-sized. We can have realistic hospital simulation. We can have astronomical worlds. Your fantasy sets the limits. Case 3 is professional workplace skills, right? So realistic factories, offices, construction site, emergency simulations, decision-making with real consequences, workplace-ready skills rehearsal. That's the power of Genesis. Now, to do this, if you compare this with today's world, what's the competitive edge? Traditional VR is pre-built, slow, limited. AI tools are adaptive, but not immersive. Game VR is engaging, but not educational. So EON puts that all together into Genesis, right? It's the first to emerge as the world creation for this type of knowledge transfer. The market opportunity is huge, right? We have corporate training, that's 366 billion. We have higher education. We have K-12, that's 6 trillion, and we have professional certification. So we are very excited about engaging in the first pilots with you. It's something we are releasing this year, so if you are interested, contact us as soon as possible. We will prioritize people that already have the EON XR platform, which is a basic platform, and you're welcome. So the idea is now to go to an era of static education, which is over, to this dynamic, personalized, authentic learning. And the whole bigger picture is that this will enable skills and improve the capability to get your well-paid jobs, right, and income. Infinite worlds, infinite opportunities, and as I said, feel free to contact us to partner. Okay, so for a better part of 25 years, EON has served businesses. We are a business-to-business solution, and we will continue to serve our customers. However, what we've also seen over the last few years, that there is a big gap that our partners, our academic institution, or companies cannot address. And for that, we offer now EON Virtual Campus. And the whole idea is to democratize education to direct-to-student access. So this is for the students that can go to an academic institution, cannot apply, or are in remote areas and don't have access to it, and wants to have something affordable. So the idea is to go through the whole process from skills to jobs to income directly for every learner. It's still based on our mantra, knowledge is a human right, and we want to make it available, accessible, and affordable for everybody. There is a global access crisis. Millions are excluded today because of either cost, gatekeeping, or simple geography. And this is most apparent in the global south. I've been to 140 countries, some of them 60 times, and I can see how global south suffers from that. But it's also in the northern part of the hemisphere. So human costs are huge, right? Qualified learners are rejected, professionals are blocked, entrepreneurs don't get the necessary support. And that is what I call the global access crisis. For example, Nigeria, there's, I think, 10 million students that can get into the university they desire. So the global south is impacted, and we need to address it. We have 3 pillars. We have our skills pillars, we have a job, and we have the income. What I mean by that is education, in my opinion, is a human right. It has to be meaningful, i.e. integrated with what is required in the job market, so there's a pathway to employment. And it has to also generate a good payment, so you can afford your own home, you can raise a family, and you can be prosperous. And this can happen directly to the income or to entrepreneurship activities. So the idea is to go beyond the traditional limits, right? Instead of just developing skills in the normal way, we do it with active XR simulation, whether it's medicine or mechanical engineering or infrastructure, personalized learning. We know by using this technology, students learn 4 times faster, retain information longer, make better decisions, and also get higher pass rates. Now, we are not only providing this, we are integrating it in the job for your zip code. So we have something called Career Compass. We have something called Syllabus Sync that makes sure that whatever you learn will lead to a job that's required or in demand in the market if you so desire. We also are committing to, let's say, there may not be enough jobs in Global South, but there's high problem density, meaning there's a lot of problems that if someone would solve them, will make a lot of money. So that's where we include the Entrepreneur Guide. And with that comes, though, in the Wealth Weaver program, 7 different packages. The Wayfinder that finds this, when you qualify as an entrepreneur. The School, which is a 6-month school that we offer. The Entrepreneur Guide, which takes you from idea all the way to product. The Brainy, that is your guide, your mentor through all the difficulties and challenges. The Vibe Coder that helps you develop your application without coding or programming. The Marketplace that helps you sell that to a market that we have across the world. Between 36 million originally, now we are moving to 130 plus million users. And you have also a bridge to investment. We are having, for example, an event October 1st in Saudi Arabia, where we are hosting various stakeholders, including investors, to help support entrepreneurs. Now, the underlying concept with knowledge as a human right is accessibility and equity, right? So there's also a freemium model here with real value. There are multiple languages, so everybody can access it. It works on almost any device, from mobile to VR to PC, and it's also available for regional partnerships. So we see that the market opportunity is huge. There's more than 600 million underserved learners worldwide. Online failures today are huge, 15% completion, and we believe that virtual campus will fill that gap with outcome-driven, job-ready entrepreneurial activities that serve a B2C market. Let's talk about impact and responsibility. So the metrics are simple. Do you learn faster? Do you get the right skills? This is on education. On a career, did you get the placement? Did you get a bit better salaries? Are you globally mobile? The entrepreneurial, how many startups have we launched? How many jobs have been created so this is also aligned with United Nations goals with respect to education, equity, work, and growth. So my call of action is push that button. Go from learning to job to income. We are rolling out Virtual Campus. If you want to learn more about us, feel free to contact us. And this will really help to democratize access, unlock global potential. And we are rolling this in phases with launched pilots, which will scale worldwide. Thank you so much.